Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 10145 Southwest Cynthia Street here in Beaverton. Checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We gained access to the line through a 3-inch ABS cleanout that's to the right of the doorway. I'll show that when I pull the camera out here at the end. Had some issues with the monitor on the advance out there, so anyway. We're at the main currently at 67 feet. I had to restart the system. So we're going to do just a reverse pullback one in this case here. And you can see water is running. We are currently in 4-inch PVC at the main lateral at 67 feet. You got ABS pipe in here and a really tiny section of 3034 PVC. So we're going to go locate the camera head really quick here while the line drains off, and then we'll take a good look at everything as we come back. We do have a belly in the sewer line right before the transition to PVC we're going to take a look at. Looked like it had a reasonable amount of standing water in it. All right, located the camera head successfully. Line terminates out on Southwest Cynthia. The line, as it makes its way out, again, and I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front door. The line pops out of the house just to the right of the front door. It then veers toward the driveway, but turns and shoots out to the road before getting underneath the driveway. If you go out to the road and stand in the street and you look just to the right of the driveway skirt, you'll see a 3-inch ABS pipe poking out of the curb. That's where your downspout, or theoretically your downspouts, may empty onto the road. They're not always utilized, but anyway, that's kind of a landmark. The line crosses the curb very, very close to where that pipe pops out of the curb there, in case you're curious where the line's at. And the line's just about done draining off. What we have left here is a trickle. None of that's standing water there. Pull back here and take a look at the belly that's in the line. And there's that short little section of 3034 right here, and then right after we go right back into the ABS. So it's at the top of this drop here we're going to see in just a second, right before the line dives. Unfortunately, that right there is all the grade they could have probably utilized to help prevent a belly from happening, but it's a very common scenario where you get a belly in conjunction with a line that has a hard dive like this. It's a lot of grade that could have been utilized to put a steeper angle on all the pipe that precedes this point, but you know, it is what it is. It's what you got at this point. So anyway, the belly dissipates off there at 39 feet. My camera is upside down right now. Just keep that in mind if you didn't figure that out already. And that little lump there in the flow line is a little piece of excess pipe glue. You're curious what that was there. So the belly here in total runs from about 32 feet to 39 feet. And it looks like just about done draining off. I think that toilet in there has a flapper that takes a second to actually close off all the way. So anyway, at this point, that amount of water flowing through the line here is not going to be exaggerating things. So the water line here it's just right at the top of the camera lens. So you've got from about 32 to 36 feet there, you've got about an inch of water, and then it tapers off to about a 1/16 quarter inch. So my 2 cents on this thing, you know, it's hovering in the realm of where I start to consider repairs on bellies. This one's a good distance from the house, and I'll at least go locate to see where it's at here really quick. But, I mean, there's a little bit of staining at the top of the pipe there, little bit. However, if you see here, all this pipe, top of the pipe is nice and clean. Part of the reason you've got debris at the top of the pipe, which can sometimes be an indicator of a past blockage, when a line fills up all the way, it'll leave a deposit on the top of the sewer line, assuming the line has not been cleaned. When you have a steep dive like this, that water shooting through the pipe, especially toilet flushes that are moving at a high velocity, the water does not just magically round this bend and just stay stuck to the flow line. It'll lift off the bottom of the pipe and hit the top of the sewer line there. And in this case, that looks like the reasoning behind that debris there. There is no debris buildup on the sidewalls of the pipe there in the belly. There is zero buildup to speak of in that section of pipe there. So, you know, the belly is not significant enough, in my opinion, to require repairs. I can't even recommend $5 in drain cleaning on this thing. You know, could it cause a problem? Theoretically, yes, it could do it. At 32 feet out from the house like this, in smooth plastic pipe with barely an inch of standing water for only about 4 feet of that belly there, this is the kind of belly that would act up on you under abusive scenarios. So if you're flushing lots and lots of balled up toilet paper down the toilet, even more so improper items like paper towels, things of that nature, that's the stuff that especially has a hard time getting through here. So anyway, you're ranging from about 1/4 to an inch of standing water. Only about, you know, approximately half the belly is at that inch mark. It's at the 5 foot mark with an inch of water, static with no water running at all, is where I start to consider repairs. Generally speaking, I'm mostly recommending repairs on bellies like that when they're very close proximity to the home. So anyway, I'm gonna go locate really quick just so you know where this is at. All right, this is in that kind of bark dust planter area between the right side of the driveway and the front yard area. Running through that region there where that belly's at. Anyway, in my opinion, it's not significant enough to warrant repairs, especially considering the distance it is from the house, and to boot, I can't even recommend cleaning on the line. So going back to what I was saying about, you know, what could get that thing to the point of blocking, you know, and the proximity to the home. If you were to theoretically develop a blockage there at 32 feet or somewhere amongst that, between 32 and, you know, 39 feet, you have to fill up quite a lot of pipe to get back to just the foundation wall of the house, and even more so to get back to your first fixture. The amount of head pressure or water weight sitting on that blockage by the time you fill up 32 to 40 feet of pipe is quite extreme. You know, and under proper usage scenarios, toilet paper going down the line, stuff like that, most blockages are not going to be able to withstand that kind of head pressure. That's under a scenario where a blockage even does happen. From what I can see here, I see very little evidence that that line has ever struggled to drain through that area. And part of the reason I run backwards like I just did there, some folks are savvy. They hydrojet their line before the sale of the house happens to minimize the look of things. The one spot that rarely, very rarely gets cleaned is the interior of the house. So while you might be able to easily erase any evidence on the exterior, most folks don't jet backwards. And so you'll have this magically clean exterior pipe, and then the interior will be covered in buildup and backup evidence, things like that. Going backwards into the house, just as clean on the inside as it is on the outside. And based on the films I see throughout the line that take some time to develop, we're getting a natural look at the line, you know, under the current circumstances of how it's being treated, which is nicely. And so what I'm seeing here is a line that has adequate flow of the main lateral. All the pipe is intact and clean, and the sewer line is functioning out this time. The belly, again, not significant enough, in my opinion, to warrant repairs, especially with what we're working with here. If I can't recommend you even clean the sewer line, I generally don't jump straight to repairs. So if that same belly were the first 5 feet outside or 9 feet or whatever, in this case 7 feet, sorry, out of the gate here, right up close to the house, I would be a little more tempted to, just because under a blockage scenario, you don't have the same level of leeway to start filling up pipe to create head pressure where that one's situated at, especially being it's also at the on its way down of a pretty steep dive. You've got a fair amount of gravity working in your favor on this one. So as long as you're not treating this thing in an abusive fashion on a consistent basis, putting wipes, flushable wipes, paper towels, lots of cooking oil and grease down the line, that's a spot there that's very unlikely to cause a blockage. And even more so, you know, if that same belly, for instance, was in old rough cast iron or concrete pipe, I would be singing a different tune about it. That coupling of standing water and rough pipe materials is not a combo I like. But the smooth plastic, you know, nature of this type of pipe material mitigates a lot of buildup on its own. The pipe walls are so smooth that a lot of stuff has a hard time hanging on and conveys itself through quite easily. So that's my 2 cents on that. Just not to the level there of warranting tearing a big trench in the yard here, in my opinion. So sewer line is functioning out this time.